Power to the truth. This is Speak Out the Aztlán. I'm going to entitle this, Should I Take My Meds? A few thoughts first. It takes a while to set up this stuff here, and I hope it comes out okay with the lighting and all that. So bear with me. There's no script here. I'm just kind of going with the flow and trying to be aware of the direction of that flow. Okay. I got laid off from Salvation Army a few years back because the county cut backs and I was not a kiss ass, in my opinion. So I couldn't go into Salvation Army because I had been working there before, according to the director Elizabeth Hudson. So then I went into Volunteers of America shelter. I tried to hold off going into the shelter, and I did for several months. I had savings. I had never taken a vacation before from Salvation Army. So I ended up going to VOA as a client. Had some of my former clients there. And I ended up getting a diagnosis for bipolar. And I'm trying to keep this simple, trust and believe. I ended up going to Carol's place, which is a place by Southside Park for people who are dealing with their issues. So, but to backtrack a bit, when I was at VOA, next door is a guest house, and it was easy to get medication, Seroquel. Too easy. And like at Salvation Army, we used to ask a client if they had like any suicidal ideation, suicidal ideas. But at Carol's place, it was pretty easy. Once I was diagnosed bipolar, it's like, let them in. I'm looking at the power of Big Pharma. Big Pharma, Pharma. And basically, the U.S. government is the biggest drug pusher in the world. And many good Americans are on pharmaceuticals. I quit taking my Seroquel about 2 years ago. And I really don't believe that I have a set bipolar disorder. If anything, I think I have more of a tendency towards obsessive compulsive disorder and attention deficit hyper disorder, ADHD, OCD, ADHD. As we say, I got the D's. So I'm not comfortable with putting labels on myself. There's a shame, there's a stigma involved, and from other people. You know, you just tell someone like, Oh, he's bipolar. He goes, oh, bipolar. Or if someone's acting goofy or they mess up, they say, he didn't take his meds. There's no, it's just a belief. Wow, he's screwed because he didn't take his meds. So, I haven't taken my meds now for 2 years. I think I'm doing pretty well. I don't believe there's a real true test for bipolar. And I'm a recovered doping with over 12 years off of shooting up methamphetamine and over 10 years off alcohol. Lately I've been checking out videos by, I love him, Gabor, Maté, M-A-T-E. I'll leave links below. This is my big addiction, so deal with it or not. So the question here is, should I take my meds? Right now I say no. I worked with a Christian recovery group at Salvation Army for about over 10 years. And due to lack of participation, around May of this year, I stopped doing that. I'm not a codependent. And I was realizing that it was, my ego was kind of keeping me going doing it. And I only get a few people show up, and I wanted to work on other matters, like publishing a book, doing research, and as a recovered doping, I'm not comfortable with taking medication. And I think they call psychotropics. So for now I'm going to not take my meds. Like I said, it's been over 2 years now without my meds, Seroquel. So I'm working more at understanding myself better than ever without ayahuasca. So I hear that could help. So I've had to go back into remembering. Remember. Being a member of a memory of my early childhood development and my relationships with my primary caregivers, my mother and my father, and basically learning about myself. And I find that as I go more into it, I start understanding why I got involved with the drug culture and being a doping. You know, I look at the early childhood development, I look at the environment, and I look at my relationships. So it could have started with me chewing gum. My mouth got dry and I had to have a beer. And for an alcoholic, one beer is too much and 1,000 is never enough. So I eventually got involved in crank. So, flashback, in '76, I had what I consider now a shaman experience. On the outside, it looked like a nervous breakdown. And it was just a strange time in my life. I was taking Haldol and Congentin. To get to my point, I OD'd of my Haldol and Congentin. I was took me to the ER, and I was in a coma for 3 days, 3 nights. The doctor told my mom that only a miracle could save me. And all my vital systems were monitored. My last rites had been done over my body. And so, third day, I awoken on the third day. So, that led to a long process of rehabilitation. And it was physical, mental, and spiritual. Now I'm looking at even what I'm doing here now as a kind of spiritual therapy. And I have to turn this on. So even if no one else sees this, even if no one comments or what, because I rarely get a comment, thank you. I'm going to keep doing this. So, now many other people have issues as I do. In a way, our issues help make us more interesting. So I want to help other people grapple with their issues. Help to understand who we are, and we can heal together in harmony. So preferably without meds. I can see meds as a transition point until you work on yourself more. Alternative forms of therapy, including spiritual therapy. But eventually you want to wean off the meds. Like people on methadone, former heroin addicts who never seem to get off the methadone. Eventually you need to wean yourself off that. If you're on pharmaceuticals, I suggest you consider the possibility of weaning yourself off your meds and facing life on life's terms. So, I'm not giving any medical advice here. Probably illegal anyway. But I am an outlaw. I do support global revolution. And I would love to see a peaceful one. But I want to see a revolution in the world by any means necessary. Namaste.